Our first problem up here in the upper left-hand corner, we want to be able to factor this and write out the inequality and on our number line. The first thing that we're going to look at here is if it can be factored, that's going to be what we want to be able to do. So x squared plus 3x plus 2. If it will do this for me. Come on. Here we go. Let's try this again. So I want to be able to see if I can factor this first. If I can factor it, that's how we want to perceive it. Can it be factored? What is our two numbers? Oh, I'm frozen. That makes more sense. Can be factored. Multiplies to 2 but adds up to 3. 2 and 1. When I graph this on my number line, will it be connected or not connected? Not connected. My answer would be x is equal to -2, comma, -1. If we graph that on our number line, I'm going to get 0 here, -1 here, -2 here. Open or close circles? Open, connected or away? Away. The inequality that it would look like, or the interval that it would look like, is parentheses, -2, -1, parentheses. So that is our answer. The one to the right, we want to be able to solve that out, thinking of the absolute values as parentheses. So when we get to the absolute value, we got to be able to change it. I'm going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides. So just to save room, adding 5 to both sides will give me 12. Dividing both sides by 2 will give me 6. This is where we want to change because we have the inequality. So it's going to give me -6 is less than x plus 3, which is less than or equal to 6. Want to be able to subtract out 3 from both sides. Our final solution will be -9 less than x, which is less than 3. We want to be able to graph this interval as well, so I'm going to take my solution and graph it right up above it. My interval for this will be from 0, or in this case, -9 to 3. Are these open or closed? Closed. Connected or not connected? Connected. So that's how that one's going to look. The next one we want to be able to do is write the general equation using the point, using our center 4, 3, and point -5, 1. First thing I want to be able to do is plug in my center into the equation. We're solving for r, so it's going to be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared. We always plug them into the opposite values, equals r squared. We're going to take our point now, and we're going to plug it into the equation. So it's going to be -1 minus 4 squared plus y 5 minus 3 squared is equal to r squared. We're solving for r so we can plug it back together. we are going to get negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. 5 minus 3 is going to give me 4. 2, I'm sorry, 2. Just kidding. I'm jumping ahead. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Reducing this down, we're going to get 29 is equal to r squared. Square root of 29 is equal to r. We have our center. We have our r. We can all put it together. So I'm hoping we have enough room somewhere. Let me kind of eliminate this here. Right up above it. Sorry, did not have enough room. Our equation will be x minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 29. Square rooting a square, or square root a squared, gives you the number. That is our value. Yes. In this case, if we take the square root and we plug it into r squared, the square root of 29 is just 29. Right. So I did it faster than I probably should have. Completing the square. Yes, sir. Yeah, you can just plug it back in.
But if it's like something you can't square, like
if we can't, if our value was 36, take the square root of 36.6. Yeah. In this case, you still want to plug it in. Whatever it gives you, you can plug it into the calculator. It will reduce it for you. Yeah. In this case, r cannot be negative. So yeah, if you were to put that, you wouldn't get it wrong. I wouldn't be mad at you about that. It would technically be wrong just because we've been dealing with just positive r values. But no, I'm not going to ding you for it. I'm not going to, yeah, don't worry about it. Whenever we talk about the circle and the radius, it's always considered positive, so you just put positive. When we do the test and we do test review, I'll say, hey, if we're taking the square root, make sure you guys remember to put the plus or minus. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. The bottom problem, we're going to go ahead and use completing the square to solve this out. I'm going to bring my whole numbers together, my x's together first. X squared minus 24x plus a blank. My y plus y squared plus 2y plus a blank is equal to negative 81. I'm going to take this 81 and bring it to the other side. Trying to complete the square with this. Doing my first terms here, I want to find the completing the square value. So I'm going to take negative 24 divided by 2 and square it. So negative 24 divided by 2 is 12 squared. So 144 to one side. If I do it for one side, I got to do it to the other. Take your y's now, divide that by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is just 1. So we're going to bring that 1 up here. This is going to give me 64. A little bit smaller. This is going to be in the term of x minus 12 squared plus y plus 1 squared is equal to 64. We can leave it like that. What would be my center? 12, negative 1. What would be my radius? 8. So a lot to work on, a lot to have in the beginning. Okay, this is definitely a review problem. You will definitely see problems like this. No joke. For serious. Okay, for reals. Here we go. Do me a favor. Okay, you don't need to copy none of this down, but just tell me. This is just kind of review. Write the slope of each of the lines. AB, CD, EF, GH. You don't need to copy none of this down. This is the beginning of our notes, but I just want you guys to tell me that. What is the slopes of the lines? It goes back to integrated one, or in this case, in your guys' case, I believe it was algebra one. Think about what it's asking you for. We always do rise over run, up and down to left and right. From A to B, first of all, is it positive or negative? Definitely positive. If you're reading it like a book going from left to right, it's going upward, so it definitely is positive. What'd you guys get for A to B? 4 over 2. Did you guys reduce that down to 2 over 1 or just 2? It's also good. What about for our CD? Is it positive or negative? Negative. In this case, the negative value is going downward from left to right, from C to D. So we are going to say it's negative. So we're going down by how many? Over how many? So negative 3 over 4. It cannot be reduced, so we leave it as there. Let's see if you guys remember this one. EF is a vertical line. Undefined. Now, if we ask for the equation, it'd be different. If we had to get the equation, it'd be x is equal to negative 3. But the slope of it would be undefined. Okay, because if we were right here, if we just stuck a guy right here and we told him to walk, what direction would he go? No idea. We don't know whether he's going up or down. So if we don't know if we're going up or down, can't really give you a reason. He's undefined. Okay. What about GH? What is it? 0. 0. Our slope would be 0. And again, if we were to put a guy this way, putting in our little line here, we ask him to walk this way. We always ask him to walk to the right. Is he going up or down? Not increasing or decreasing. He's just going 0. It's like he's running around a track. Okay. So that's just quick review. Glad you guys remember that. 2, negative 3/4, undefined, and 0. Okay, those are the key ones we want to look at. Here's a topic. This is the last part. This is the last thing we're going to learn today. The last thing we're going to learn for the test. Then we're going to start reviewing. I might push out our test till Friday. I think I will. More so likely, yes. We'll start reviewing tomorrow. Team test on Wednesday. Thursday, give back the team test and review. And then Friday will be dun test. Quarter grades come out. Quarter grades come out on Wednesday. I'll be sending out an email to your parents, so don't freak out. Okay. You guys have, how many of you guys read my emails? You guys even read my emails? Kind of? Yeah. No one does. You're like, I don't even check School Loop. Yeah. No one really gets back to me anyways, but I just have that. It's both of you guys. School Loop. School Loop. It's through School Loop. Is that a better thing to do it instead of directly? I don't know how they link it. So your parents have to get onto School Loop. I could send it. I could send them to it directly. Say what? The thing is, I try to be transparent, so I try to give you the same email. So whatever you guys get, I send to your parents as well. And if your parents freak out, like, why is this progress report say this? I brought it up today. Like, just look at the School Loop email, and you can tell them that at the School Loop email. Okay, and it will say. It says your students, if you guys read it, it says on the bottom of it, it says your students' progress grade will reflect the current scores that are in School Loop. Please make sure that you're looking at those for updated answers. It's more so to keep me on my lines only because parents can get crazy. Your parents can get crazy. Super cray-cray. Okay? So it's more so just so I don't have to deal with your parents. Sorry. Okay. I love your parents, but I deal with you guys on a daily basis. Okay, here we go. Do me a favor, just write the slope of the line. Okay, we talked about this before. If we're going uphill, we're climbing. It's rise over run. We always know we're going positive. Okay, if we're going down, we're going negative. Going down a line, we're going to go negative. Our slope is always going to be rise over run, or y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. You guys have 4 problems today doing this exact thing. So you definitely want to be able to solve for the slope of these values. You don't need to copy down the little graphs, those little charts. Ooh, ooh, sleepy. Okay, here we go. Do me a favor. We're going to find the slope of the line through PQ. There's a problem just like you're going to see on the homework. It's going to ask you to find the length. You guys have probably done a lot of these, so it's okay to streamline this. I don't expect a lot of work on this. You should be able to kind of give me some leeway on it, but I should be able to see a little bit of the work. We are going to use the equation. M is equal to y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. If you're not good with subtracting or you're not good with just solving them out, I definitely highly recommend you do it this way. I'm going to label my points x1, y1, x2, y2. And all we're going to really do is plug our values in. My slope, m, is going to be equal to my y2. My y2 in this case is -3. It is helpful to put parentheses around your terms. It will help you guys differentiate them. My y1 is -5. Divided by my x2, which is 4, minus my x1, which is -2. I realize I didn't put the subtraction sign. -3 minus -5 is going to be keep, change, flip to a +2. And if you do the bottom one, we're going to keep, change, flip to get 6. We can reduce this down to 1/3. Can it be October already? Halloween. I'm so ready for it. My wife is going to go today looking for Halloween costumes for my daughter. She's adorable. Yes, she is. Do me a favor. Try this one out. So I'm trying to wiggle my way in there. So we'll see. I married back in 2014, so maybe 2 years. We were financially set. Like, it wasn't like you're really never prepared for a kid, I think. But we kind of my twin brother had a kid right out of college, 21, a girl that he knew for only a week. Yeah, that was fun conversations. And then my older brother had they were together for maybe 8 years dating, and he got her pregnant, and then they got married right then. So it's still unplanned. My wife and I got married, and then I remember laying in bed and we were just watching. I think we were watching House Hunters or something. Good show, good show. You know, yeah. And then we're just like, you know, I turned to her and I was like, "When are we gonna have a kid?" And she was like, "I'm ready for it." I was like, "I'm ready too." Okay. It was honestly that. It was honestly, yeah, I'm ready. All right. Are we pretty much good to go? She's like, yeah. We got our traveling out of the way. We got, we did cruises. We went to Vegas. We had our fun. I was like, yeah, 27, 28, 27. Oh, it was 27. I was like, yeah, okay. And we weren't like, oh, over each other, but we just like, if it happens, it happens. Yeah. So we probably started trying probably for a good 6 months. And then, yeah. Special. she put like a little box together, and she had they sell little Rancho onesies. So she came here on campus, and she had like, here, I got you something. I'm like, what? She showed me, and I was like, a onesie. I was like, what? And it was all crazy. So super happy. So you guys will be there one day for sure. Having a kid's magical. I never it was funny because even though me and my wife even though we were living at our home, we had our own home, we had good careers, we were starting out, I still we were just you know how you were in little playing house with each other? That's how it felt. It felt like playing house. My garage, inside of my refrigerator, my garage was filled up with all ice cream. It was like any single time I'd go and just buy ice cream. And I had bars, I had tubs of it. You know, I was like a little kid. I'm like, my parents can't tell me what I can go in my garage. Like, it's my garage, you know. Eating whenever I want to, go to bed whenever I wanted to. Responsibilities, of course, but it was like, and then, you know, we got pregnant, and she was like, you know, and then the second I had my kid, I still remember it. I'm getting off tangent. Look at you guys getting off tangent. Changes. Crazy. Coolest experience I've ever had. Coolest experience. Freaking out though. Freaked out. But you're up a lot. You're up a lot with the kid. If you have little younger brothers and sisters, you know. -3/2, yeah? As we're getting super off topic. Okay. Here we go. Now the next thing we want to be able to do is write the slope-intercept form. We have two different ways to write this. We have our y-intercept 0, b, which is going to be on our y-axis. And then we have the slope, which is m is equal to our slope. I'm going to show you two ways of doing these problems.
So they said that your wife can still have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does she have to do something?
No, you can have it natural. It depends on the size of your body. Depends on the size of your baby. After they don't tell you to advise going past 3 with the C-section. So after a third C-section, you know, kind of yeah, you should be stopping having kids because they cut up all the muscles that are down below to get down below. So it's kind of it messed my wife up. She was swollen from all the. I mean, it was pretty hectic for her. She was a trooper. Bought her $100 pillow that's like a big old U pillow that I'm like, you know, huge. They're huge. They're awesome. They're super comfortable. Yeah. But it's fun having a kid now. They're so dumb. Yeah, I wanted a daughter too. A daughter was cool. No, I do. When you get to having kids, you just want them to be healthy. You see so many things. Like I used to. I mean, you know, if you have any brothers or sisters or family members that have any special needs, it's hard. And they tell you. I mean, we got the test to tell you. So copy this down. And it's hard to tell you. It's hard to tell someone what would you do if you have, you know, because they can check for cerebral palsy, they can check for certain things, and what do you do? You know, and my wife is like, what happens if that happens? You know, because for the first 3 months, my daughter had a cyst on her brain. You know, but it's like 60% of kids, you know, develop cysts, and they just go away. So they went away by the time but I'm like, that freaks you out. You know, my wife is scared, you know. So you never know in that position. And, you know, at the point, you just like, I don't care what kind of species it is, as long as it's healthy. You know, come out healthy, you know. So that was kind of the biggest thing. Was just
so they could tell you though, right, during your pregnancy is.
Yeah, they measure the needs, they measure the body of it, and then they measure the shape of the head and the length of the neck, and that determines, I guess, they can automatically tell you. I don't know, and I was like, well, would we have terminated? I don't know. That's a hard question to ask someone. because I've been around special needs people. I've worked as a job coach for those. It's a life changer. It's a definitely, I mean, if you've never worked with one of them, it's a very humbling and patient experience. If you ever have a chance to do it. But it really, you know, would you want to be in that position? It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell. The entire life, your entire life. And that's, you know, it's a hard pass, you know, it's a hard pass. So luckily we didn't have to worry about that, but we just want to help you. I would love a boy now. I would love a boy now. I think it'd be cool, but I'll get another girl. I love my girl. I love girls. So, oh, I know. Thing is, like, someone asked me about that last year when we were saying, like, are you going to let her date? I'm like, I'm hoping my daughter is open enough to tell me that she, you know, likes a boy, that, yeah, I'll take him on a date. Yeah, I don't care. Go and guide, you know. It's going to happen. I'd rather have her open and tell me than for her to be secretive and be like, I'm going with my friends and not going with her friends and going to hang out with her boyfriend, you know? I'd rather have that. And regardless, I'm like, what if she turns out to be gay? I'm like, good. I don't care. She's not going to get pregnant. Like, she's not going to get pregnant. I'm going to hug you just as I hugged anyone before. I'm like, I'm not, you know? That's what one of my buddies says. He's like, what if your daughter turns out gay? I'm like, I don't care. It's your life. If she turns out gay, you know, happy about that. Whatever makes her happy. Don't be depressed. I'm like, it's one of those things. I hope she gets asked to homecoming. I hope she gets, you know, you want those things to happen to you. You know what I mean? You want those experiences. You don't appreciate them now, but you become 30 and you like look back and like, whoa. Okay. For our first one here, what we want to be able to do first is we got to be able to find our slope. So we're going to kind of split this up into two different problems. No. So I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. Slope-intercept and point slope. These are two different ways we're going to look at it. Whichever way works for you. And actually, change up your points. I'm going to change them up just because I don't like it for this problem. Sorry. Change up your points to 4, -1. Change it up to these two. I just realized in the last class it was kind of confusing because of the points. So we're going to look at it in this way. So same problem, we're just changing up our points. We're going to look at okay. Now when doing our slope-intercept form, the first thing we definitely going to find out, I'm going to kind of erase this top part up here, is we got to be able to find the slope. The first thing you want to do is find the slope. So M is going to be our slope. Our X is going to be on the bottom, so 4 minus 2 is just going to be 2 on the bottom. -1 minus 2 is going to give me -3. So I'm going to need both the slopes for these. I'm going to need -3/2 and -3/2. I'm going to kind of write that one up a little bit better. So we need to find the slope, period. So whenever you're given something, you need to find the slope. The second thing you're going to need is you're going to need one of your points. In this case, we're going to use our point 4, -2. It doesn't matter which one you choose. You could use 2, 2. But we're going to use a point and a slope. Okay, and there's two ways of doing it. I like using the slope-intercept form because it's less confusing when you plug in values. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to plug this into y equals mx plus b. We're going to plug our point and we're going to plug our slope in to get this. Okay, we're going to get -1 for y. Our slope is -3/2. Our x is 4 plus b. So essentially what we're doing is we're solving for b. Once we have our intercept, once we have our slope, we can plug them back in together. When we reduce down, we get -1 is equal to -6 plus b. If we add that up, we get 5. So what we're going to use here is we're going to use our b for 5, and we're going to use our slope of -3/2 to write the equation y is equal to -3/2x plus 5. That's all we do. This is all we're doing. That's it. Write the equation with the point that goes through this line. those 2 points, and we just did that. Okay. The second one that we want to be able to do is write the same thing but using a different method. Now, whichever one you choose to do, it doesn't matter to me. If we're going to use our point slope, we're going to use a point slope formula. Y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. So again, we're going to plug in our values. Yes. In this case, so you're just asking about this part right here? This would be like negative 3 over 2 times 4, right? But I can write 4 as 4 over 1. So essentially what I'm doing is you're multiplying them together. So if I get this, I'm going to get negative 12 over 2 if you want to do it that way. Negative 12 divided by 2 is still negative 6. So I'm just kind of simplifying before I reduce. So you can definitely do it that way. Our points for this, so I'm going to plug in. When we plug into our y, it's going to be plus 1, because we're going to do the negative times the negative is a positive. Our slope is negative 3 over 2. X minus 1, which would be minus or plus 4, because negative times a negative would be plus. Okay, this is another alternative way to do it. So in this case, we're using the minus 4, right? So, oh, sorry, minus 4. Minus 4, you're right. Thinking if we're always using the opposite. So it should be minus. You're right. Yeah, minus 4. Plugging in our equation, we get 4. When we factor everything out, we're going to get y plus 1. We're going to reduce this, which we're going to get negative 6, positive 6. So using distributive property, we get this. And then subtracting out 1 from both sides, we get the same exact equation. Same exact method, whichever one you choose to do. Whichever one you choose to do. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to go ahead and just use the slope-intercept form because a lot of you guys seem to be more familiar with that one. It seems to be a little bit easier, especially because you don't have to deal with flipping or changing the values. Okay. Here we go. We're going to do, so this is how we want to be able to find them. There's one more thing we're going to kind of look at, okay? Copy down that, slopes, parallel, and perpendicular. So we're going to do 2 examples, and then we're going to kind of be done here. Slopes of parallel lines are equal. Slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. Another way we could say this is M1 is equal to M2. And M1 is perpendicular if we have it as 1 over M1. The opposite reciprocal. So we're going to apply the same idea, but now with parallel and perpendicular lines. It's going to be a little bit more crazier because we've got to find out what those lines are, but we're going to be able to do it. It's nothing too crazy. You guys remember doing this at all? Way back when? Okay, here we go. So copy down this problem. Write the line of the equation that is parallel to 2x plus 3y is equal to 9 and passes through 3, comma, negative 1. So this is the same type of problems, except there's a little bit less solving, I think. We got to be able to convert that standard form equation into slope-intercept. And let's change this value. Let's change this last value so it's a little bit nicer. Let's change it to this. Let's change that 9 to a, let's do 6. Looks a little bit nicer when we plug it in. Does it matter? No, but it looks a little bit nicer. I'm going to kind of give you guys directions for this to help us determine how to actually write these out, because these are the types of problems you're going to see on the test. Okay, especially on today's homework, you'll see that. So I'm going to kind of give you guys a direction for this. So the first thing is, bless you, convert equation to y is equal to mx plus b. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. We are going to convert. I'm going to subtract out 2x from both sides. Get negative 2x plus 6. Dividing out by 3, we're going to get negative 2/3 x plus 2. So all I did is I converted. My second step, yeah. Second step is to determine parallel or perpendicular. So we want to be able to look at our slope here. Would be a slope parallel to the slope. Negative 2/3. It's the same equation. The third step is we're going to use point and new slope to find B. So we're going to use it to find B. So I'm going to drop down our point here. And this just becomes one of the problems we just did. Okay? We want to be able to take these problems now, and we want to be able to plug them into y equals mx plus b. Okay, we're solving for b now. So negative 1 is equal to negative 2/3 times 3 plus b. And let me even write this out for some of you guys that give me this blank stare. I'll write this out a little bit further. Negative 1 for my y. My slope is negative 2/3. My x is 3. My b is b. We're trying to solve for b. So solve for b now. We're going to get negative 1. My 3 and 3 cancel out, giving me 2 plus b. If we add 2 to both sides, we're going to get b is equal to 1. Fourth step is to plug b and slope to y is equal to mx plus b. So we're going to kind of join these two together. So I have my slope here again. I have my b here. Y is equal to negative 2/3 x plus 1. That is my final solution. Easy or hard? Easy, right?
So how do you know if it's perpendicular or if it's...
Look in the question.
Oh, okay, so it'll always tell you.
It will always tell you.
Okay.
Say find the equation that is parallel. Find the line that is perpendicular. Find the line that is.
Change it at all if it's perpendicular?
We're going to do the next one. Okay. The next one would be changing that. Okay, here we go. our last one here. So I'm going to kind of run you guys to the bell, but I'll get you guys your homework. I'll drop down a problem for you so you don't have to do it. You only have 5, 6, 7 problems for which you're finding slope. Write the line that is perpendicular to the equation, passes through our points. Four minutes with you guys left here. I want to try to hurry this up. Okay. First thing I want to be able to do, I got to convert this into y equals mx plus b. I'm going to subtract out my 2x and my 7 to get 3y is equal to negative 2x minus 7. We're going to divide out by 3 to get negative 2/3 x minus 7 over 3. Now, I want to be able to look at my slope here. What would be perpendicular to the slope? What would it be? Opposite reciprocal. So opposite to negative is positive, and then flipped. So just 3/2. Okay. Perpendicular slope to that would be 3 over 2. I'm going to drop down my point 3, 2. What should I do from here now? Y equals mx plus b. That's exactly what we're going to do. Y is equal to mx plus b. So I'm going to plug my values in. 2 is y. My slope is 3 over 2. My x is negative 3. My b is going to be plus b. This is going to give us a fraction, which is fine. We're going to get 2 is equal to negative 9 over 2 plus b. I'm going to add 9 over 2 to both sides. If we convert this, trust me on this, 4 will give me 13 over 2. That's equal to b. From here, we're going to go ahead and combine everything together. I have my perpendicular slope of 3/2, a b which is equal to 13 over 2. We're going to combine these into y equals mx plus b. If you want to give me the decimal, you're more than welcome to. Cool beans? Yes. I reduced it down. So if you want to convert this into 4 over 2 plus 9 over 2, right? Same thing. Then 4 and 9 gives me 13 over 2. Your calculator would do it too. Here is your homework. Oh, not there, not there. This. You might want to take a picture. Let me get rid of this problem for you. This will also be posted up on Schooloops. Or Loopy Loops, the Schooloops. Paying really close attention to this 30. It might be a mind trick to you. Mind trick. Yes. Because either one, if I were to switch these two up, it wouldn't matter which one I'm choosing. As long as you're choosing one of them to be your X's, your X ones, the other ones to be your Y ones. It doesn't matter which one you're going to get, yeah.